Everyone, welcome to the show. So, Donald Trump and El Salvador's President Bukele, they can't seem to get their story straight about the Maryland father and husband who was erroneously deported to an El Salvador prison. So, last week, I'm sure you guys all know, the Supreme Court, they ordered the Trump administration to quote unquote effectuate the return of a man named Abrego Garcia. They wanted him brought back to the United States. And Garcia, as I'm sure you guys all remember, he was accused by the Trump administration of being a gang member, doing all kinds of horrific things, all totally untrue. They provided not a shred of evidence to back up their lies. And it was revealed that Garcia's case was already adjudicated during Trump's first term. This happened back in 2019. The judge at that time said, you don't have any evidence that he was in a gang. I don't find anything credible about what you're presenting here. And so the judge had ordered in 2019, you have to let him go. You are to release him. And then the judge placed a block on Garcia's deportation to El Salvador, which is his home country, because he had been targeted by gangs. And the judge said he could face physical harm or death if he returns. You know, they're targeting his family. Well, after his recent detention in Trump 2.0, a U.S. district judge ordered Trump to return Garcia to the U.S., where, again, he has a wife, he has 3 children, all of which have disabilities of some sort. And his wife is a U.S. citizen. He is literally married to a U.S. citizen. So the case wound up before the Supreme Court. They ruled against the Trump administration, all 9 justices, which is really, really rare, by the way. So they all said that, again, Trump had to effectuate the return of Garcia, and that they would need to provide the district court judge with updates about their progress, what they're doing. Trump is still refusing to follow the Supreme Court's order. On Friday, Trump's Justice Department attorneys went before U.S. District Judge Paula Zinnes. This is the judge who's been overseeing this case. She was pressing them for details about Garcia's whereabouts, his return to the U.S. The attorneys, the DOJ attorneys, completely stonewalled. I don't know if they just didn't know or if they're playing the game too, but they said, oh, we just don't have much information to share. The Trump Justice Department is just not giving us much. The administration isn't really telling us much. And then they also refused the judge's order to provide a written plan. She wanted them to show what steps they were going to take. Like, write it down. Tell me what exactly you plan to do to secure this man's release from El Salvador. The judge obviously was not happy, as you can imagine. But when Trump was asked about this case on Friday after this hearing, he told reporters, quote, if the Supreme Court said, bring somebody back, I would do that. I respect the Supreme Court. Yeah, well, no, turns out not so much. Things have taken a sinister turn. So now the Trump administration is saying, we cannot, and we will not return Garcia. We cannot bring him back. And he had a White House meeting with El Salvador's president. They ended up doing this press conference together, and they're each pretending neither one of them has the authority to do anything about this situation. They're like pointing at each other. Oh, well, it's not up to me. It's up to him. Oh, well, it's not up to me. It's up to him. Yeah. Bukele was asked about returning this man who he could have flown in with him. And he told reporters, quote, how can I smuggle a terrorist into the United States? Of course, I'm not going to do it. The question is preposterous. Bukele knows damn well this man is not a terrorist. And even if he was confused about that, Trump was right there. His practically half of his cabinet was right there and could have set him straight. And then Bukele deflected the question, and then he pretended as if the U.S. is trying to force him to release Garcia into his own country. Bukele said, quote, I mean, we're not very fond of releasing terrorists into our country. We just turned the murder capital of the world into the safest country in the Western Hemisphere. And you want us to go back into releasing criminals so we can go back to being the murder capital of the world? That's not going to happen. Again, this man has done nothing. He has done nothing wrong. He has no criminal history, not in this country, not in El Salvador, not anywhere on the freaking planet. He's working full time, taking care of his family. So Bukele is saying, you know, I'm not going to release him into my country. And, you know, I don't have the authority to send Garcia back to the US. Okay. So keep that in mind. He's saying, I can't, I don't have the authority to send him to the US. So he's saying he's not in control of this man. It's up to the US. But then right after he spoke, Trump's attorney general was there, Pam Bondi, that psycho, and she told reporters, quote, that's up to El Salvador if they want to return him. That's not up to us. I feel like I'm taking crazy pills. No, Pam, he just said it's not up to him. So it is up to you. And then Trump advisor Stephen Miller, that ghoul, he also was at this press conference. And he told reporters that because Garcia is a citizen of El Salvador, the U.S. has no authority to tell El Salvador what to do with their own citizens. And then Secretary of State Marco Rubio was also there. He also agreed. Rubio told reporters, quote, I don't understand what the confusion is. This individual is a citizen of El Salvador. He was illegally in the United States and was returned to his country. That's where you deport people back to their country of origin. The foreign policy of the United States is conducted by the President of the United States, not by a court. And no court in the United States has a right to conduct a foreign policy in the United States. It's that simple. End of story. So which is it? What is the story then? I mean, they literally in the span of like 30 minutes all told different stories. Trump said he doesn't have the authority. Bukele said, I don't have the authority. Then Pam Bondi says, well, no, the United States doesn't have the authority. It's up to Bukele. And then, no, Trump's State Department is saying, well, no, you know, that's their citizen. They have a right to do with him what they want, even though we sent him there and we're paying them to keep him. But then, yeah, no judge can tell Trump what to do. This is beyond disturbing and sick. He has children here. He has a wife here. And as I have said before, if Trump can get away with this, if he can do this to innocent immigrants and just go, oh, well, I mean, too late. They're already there. It's not within my jurisdiction. Then he can do this to all of us. He can do this to anyone. This is no joke, guys. This is a break glass in case of emergency moment in our country. We are 100% officially in a constitutional crisis. If the courts will not act, I mean, I shouldn't even say that. There is nothing they can do. The courts have no say-so over Donald Trump and his administration. You know, you can't order the marshals to go arrest Pam Bondi when they work for her, essentially. Right? I mean, you can't have them go arrest the Secretary of State. They're not going to do that. Where do we go from here? We have a completely lawless president who refuses to comply with the orders of the highest court in our country. And anybody on the right who's cheering about this deception and this illegality, they need to be really careful what they wish for. Beyond the fact that the next Democratic president could also seek vengeance and start shipping MAGA men and women off to foreign dungeons, this is not popular. This is not a popular choice that Trump is making. In every single poll since Trump took office, not just more recently, every poll since he took office, and in a ton of focus groups that I have heard, that I have listened to and watched, the vast majority of Americans want Trump to follow court orders, especially when they're asked about the Supreme Court. Even a very substantial number of Trump voters, they all agree he needs to do what the Supreme Court tells him to do. Because they know this is a slippery slope. You let Trump get away with it, guess what's going to happen when a Democratic president gets in there? And here's the thing. We know that Trump and his evil representatives are completely full of shit when they say they have no authority over El Salvador and these men that they dumped in this prison. Because as I've mentioned before, our tax dollars are literally paying for their incarceration. $6 million we are paying them for the year to keep approximately 200 men there. And the contract and the agreement between Trump and the El Salvador president, it supposedly says it is a 1-year contract. And that at the end of that year, Trump is supposed to decide what to do with these men. So how is it he has no authority? You know, now he has no power to make any decisions about them. And really, if that's the case, how embarrassing for him. How embarrassing for Trump, right? The guy who claims that he can negotiate or strong arm anyone in the world. That guy is now saying, oh, I'm too weak and ineffective. I can't get what I want from El Salvador. Really? The U.S. is not more powerful than El Salvador? Yeah. Okay. Anyway, like I keep saying, we all know why they do not want these men back. They do not want them to tell their stories. They do not want them on every news station talking about how horrifically cruel they were treated. You have to keep them faceless and nameless. And that's how you convince the masses that, oh, these are just horrible, evil, criminals, like violent and drug dealers and killing people and blah, blah, blah. And, that's why we have to keep them locked up. As long as they don't see them, hear them, the majority of his base will believe it. All right, guys. Wish I had better news, but yeah, we are in serious trouble right now. This has never been more serious. And I am begging all of you to please tell everyone you know about this. Forward this video to them so they understand what's going on. We have to do something. I mean, these men cannot just be allowed to go to rot in a foreign prison when they have families depending on them. They have children who are going to grow up without them. Something has to be done. I heard on the Bulwark, I heard someone suggest that Democratic lawmakers fly over there and make a stink and make news. And absolutely, they have to do that. They need to get off their asses and freaking do something. Our country cannot be allowed to go down in flames like this because of one freaking con artist, one failed reality TV star. Anyway, like I said, when I hear more, I will let you know. Thank you so much for watching and listening. Please like, please share, and subscribe. Please donate if you can. Love you all. Take care. Talk with you soon.